There's a lot of stuff here, and it's weird because I thought yesterday was a very flat day. We certainly talked about the Super Bowl, gave our takes, had some, I don't know, some people would consider hot takes, maybe not. But I thought the reaction from people was pretty flat overall. So I'm really not sure exactly where your heads are at, but I'm going to just take a flyer on one thing in particular. We'll get into the NFL in a bit. I think the Washington Redskins as a franchise should fold. I'll explain why. What a disgrace. The Redskins franchise is a disgrace. I'll get into it. Bob Quinn had some interesting commentary. We'll get into that. You've got an NFL controversy again that I'll let Sully lead us into. And certainly, Dan Graziano had 10 bold predictions for this offseason 2018. We'll get into that. But I want to start out with your Detroit Pistons. Win last night, beat the Blazers by 20. Won 4 in a row. They are at 500 once again. They have dug themselves out. They are at 500. They are on the fringe of the playoffs. Blake Griffin has come here, and clearly, I think more people have watched. After watching the attendance last night, no, I cannot say that more people are attending. Holy hell. Bottom line is this. I didn't think it was going to take much to get people's interest. It would take a few wins in a row. It would take a little bit of get familiarized with Blake Griffin. And I thought that maybe the Pistons would get your attention. The question is whether they have it right now. For me, no. I mean, I look at things differently than most people. Yes, it's excellent. You've got to win games. They have a lot of ground they got to make up to not only make the playoffs, but get solidly in. So I'm not trying to rip them in any way, shape, or form, but it's going to take more than a homestand all against teams on a back-to-back on the road. Like, come on, will you please? Memphis played the night before. Portland lost at the buzzer the night before. Miami played the night before. You're supposed to win those games. If you're any good and you're at home and the team that's traveling to play you played the night before, you're supposed to win those games. Now, if this team can get to the next checkpoint in my world, 5 games over 500, they'll have my attention. Because as it stands now, look, I think Blake Griffin makes them better. How much better? We'll see. Do I believe long-term that guys like Ish Smith and Anthony Tolliver are going to be hitting clutch shots in the fourth quarter? No, I don't. I watch because I'm an NBA fan. I watch because I do this job. Are they more watchable than they were? Yes. That's not an argument. Of course they are. But I want to know whether you, the average Detroit fan, has started to make them a part of your viewing calendar, or whether it's a little bit premature to talk about it. Again, they've won 4 games in a row. They're at 500. It's almost like you have a 30-game season now. You got 30 games to make the playoffs. And I think you probably got to... Mike, what do you think? 4 games over 500 from here on out? Could that get them in?
Yeah, assuming they'd have to be just over 500 to get in. Yeah, so right around, if not a little above 500. I don't think anyone under 500 is getting in this year, as we've seen in years past.
Like a 43 and 39 kind of deal?
Right at that threshold, yeah.
I think that's what it'll take to get you in. You've done some of the work now. You got 4 games in a row. You got out from underneath. You're now 500. But I did listen. They have my attention in one respect. They're more watchable. As far as like my respect as a franchise or a basketball team, nah, not really. Can't do it, guys. Because as many games as you might win, or maybe you make the playoffs the next couple of years, I don't think you're ever going to be able to get enough around Drummond and Griffin for this to amount to anything. But we are in February. We don't have baseball. We just said goodbye to football. And let's face it, the hockey team is a bore. Are we kind of looking at the Pistons now and going, all right, let me at least give them a spin? I don't think there's any shame in it. From an entertainment standpoint, I understand why they made the Griffin deal. But from a value standpoint, from a franchise stability standpoint, and long-term competitive outlook, no. I mean, I'm not going to change my opinion on that. It would take a lot. But I want to know where people are at with it. You know, tomorrow night, yeah, I'll be watching. Pistons, Brooklyn. Oh, by the way, your fourth straight team, that's on a back-to-back. What a scheduling gift you got.
Well, that's the thing here. Is there any party that thinks this 4-game winning streak, obviously the energy of getting Blake Griffin, is it kind of just a spark? Is it real? You know, or is this just a team that's feeding off of energy right now and putting a few wins together?
I thought Miami is the game I was most impressed by. It's always tough when a team that's on the back-to-back is on the road. Last night, you could tell Portland didn't have anything in the tank. They had lost at the buzzer the night before in Boston. They fly here. They play you. Memphis, I thought it was a ghastly performance. You just beat a horrible team. I thought Miami was a good win. I did.
Yes.
Back-to-back or not, Miami's played good basketball. And what they run is very complex. So I'll give them full marks on that. Mike, I'm more of a long-term person where, yeah, they're on this 4-game streak. They got 30 games to go. I need to be here next month at this time talking about a team that's really rounding into form before I can even value any of it.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting thing is, as you've said, this team is more watchable. It's more fun to watch. But at the end of the day, whether you like the trade or not, people are tuning in more. I mean, Mike, we've had people call and text and tweet and say, hey, this is the first time, and that's what I'm interested to hear from people. This is the first time I've watched the Pistons in 4 years, in 6 years, in 2 years, whatever it is. So that at least tells me that people are paying closer attention. I know FSD's ratings have been very good since Blake Griffin got traded.
The next 30 games of Pistons basketball is going to be the most watchable thing until the Lions open their season.
Right. And Pistons basketball has not been watchable.
Now, if you want to include college, well, then we could talk March Madness. But professionally in this city, I don't think anybody wants to watch the Tigers. Nobody wants to watch the Red Wings. This is what we got. And at least they've got a shot to be entertaining. Beyond that, no. I've already said it. No, I don't believe you can beat any of the top 4 teams in the East. And that's assumed. Look, if you look at it, you got to be able to beat one of the top 4 if you plan on winning a playoff series. I think they look good early. I think there's definitely some energy here. I think they're feeding off of it. I will tell you this. I'm impressed by Blake Griffin's energy. I'm surprised there's no moping. He's very positive with his teammates. I think you see him talking to his teammates, trying to be a leader. Those are positive signs early from a guy who was very happy in L.A., committed to play the rest of his career in L.A., loved the L.A. lifestyle, and the next thing you know, you got traded to Siberia. So I'll give him full marks on that. That's not easy to do.